All right. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel or welcome back to the live. Thank you so much for being here. I see we got a few people in the live already here for our Sunday Night Live. It is good to be back to a Sunday Night Live. We haven't had one of these in a little bit. And, well, we did have one last week, but a nice, clean, fresh start to the week. Excited to see what the S&P 500 is going to do this tonight and tomorrow. This week overall, because really, if you kind of think about it, we've got a lot going on. This weekend was a very, very busy news week. Obviously, we have everything that's going on in Iran right now, and a lot of geopolitical and there's just so much going on right now. The idea, and I do believe that potentially the market is going to run in a down direction. And we're going to take a look at that tonight. We're going to see how the SPY opens up tonight. And then we're going to talk some levels. Let's see. All right, I got to go. I'm on the day right now. Let's go to the 15-minute. So we're going to talk some levels. And we're going to talk a lot about basically what I think we should be looking at this week. What I think you all, including myself, should be looking at. What should we be considering? You got to be careful because obviously this is, not as much a day trading day tomorrow as much as it is going to be just trying to understand the direction. Yes, I'm fixing a light right now, so sorry about that. I have a little bit too much of a shadow over me from my hat. But the bottom line is, we need to kind of understand what's going on in the market to make good decisions on those trades. And we do have the AJDT best day trade list. So I would say continue to look at that list, continue to look at those swing trade lists. You've got the aggressive, they're all three of the different lists for swing trades. Focus on those right now and see what's going on. Let's see, we got just about 2.5 minutes left before the S&P 500 and the market itself show us something. Well, we're on it already here. You could see that on Friday at 8 p.m., it took a bit of a hit downward, and we're looking at a 15-minute chart. We're going to kind of keep it on the 5 for now, just so we can see and understand what's going on with it when it opens. But we'll get right into talking about what I think we should be looking at this week and just my personal opinion. First of all, if you're brand new to the channel and you are watching this after it's been recorded, thank you so much for checking it out. I would ask you to hit the like button for me, hit the subscribe button. It's free to do that, especially the like button as well, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. I try to primarily focus this channel on the best day trade stocks, learning about what's going on in the market conditions, etc. And so, that's what we want to focus on. I see we got Paulette in the chat. Thank you, Paulette, for being here in the house tonight. One of our Discord members. Super excited to see you're here. And let's see. We are just a few seconds away from seeing what the S&P 500 is going to do. So we're going to kind of watch for this. I have to refresh. For some reason, you got to refresh back and forth a little bit. We got 22 seconds, 20 seconds to go. I know the time remaining. Yep, about 20 seconds to go. And we're going to see what it does. And then we're going to go from there. And we'll see what happens. We're not going to do much charting tonight. We're not going to do a lot of the levels. We will talk about them a little bit. I want to focus on what we should be looking at tomorrow morning, or at least tonight through into the morning, to know where we should be. All right, market should be about open here. That is the bell okay. And there you go right away. You can see clearly right here on the VWAP that we drop down here to 680. So let's go to the 5-minute chart. Now it dropped to 680. 679.98 is the bottom of this, and it did pull back up a little bit. So we're at 683.70. That was kind of a weird drop bounce. But are we going to hold that? So you'll notice it opened right up to this level, 679. What's this level I have on here right here? It's not being very cooperative with me. Come on, give me my level. Huh, weird. All right. Well, let's say that's it's probably 680 is this level here. I don't know why it's not giving me the opportunity to do that, but that's fine. So it is on that level right now, and it's holding there. So let's see what happens. If we get another drop break, let's go. Let's go a little smaller. Let's go to a 3 minute candle or even a 2 minute, and let's just kind of watch and see what this does. But obviously, along with that, everything else is going to drop. APLD, which is my favorite stock, is going to be down and dropped. There you go. Get this monster red candle. $26 dropped at 26.16 right now. So we're going to see, based on what we understand is happening in the market, we're going to see this downtrend. If we go to the AJDT best day trade stock list, we're just going to kind of run through them quick so you can see them. Okay, everything dropped. Micron Technology dropped to 390. They're pulling back up now. Tesla's down. AMD, well, they dropped to 180. They're back up here now to 195. Nvidia dropped all the way to 173. They're on a second candle. This is a 2 minute though. Remember, on a 2 minute candle here. So they're pumping up a little bit, trying to get back up. Palantir, and we're going to talk about Palantir for a minute. So Palantir did drop down to 129, but now it's pumped all the way up, hit 144. And we're going to talk about why I think Palantir is a great stock to be paying attention to take a look at. But we will see. We will see. All right, so here's what I think. I'm just going to kind of share with you my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Don't buy anything, sell anything, hold anything, do anything based on my analysis, because this is all my opinion, and it's a lot of what I'm focused on, what I'm looking at. I'm not a financial advisor. You saw the warning in the beginning of the video, so just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about the war stocks, all right? The question basically is, what should we be looking at, and what did we have going on for us the last time there was this potential war conflict? And it was not too long ago that we had, the circumstance where we went in on this, secret mission to Iran and basically blew up their areas where they were potentially building nuclear weapons, all right, their facilities. Well, now we're in there blowing up everything else, is the best way to put it, and taking control. The Ayatollah has been killed. A lot of their leadership has been killed. I could give you my personal opinion on it, whether you agree or not. You have to cut the head off the snake before you can actually kill the snake itself. And so, in essence, that's kind of what's going on right now. And if you notice, the people of Iran are dancing in the streets in joy and celebration. The concern, the fear is, what is Hezbollah going to do? And if you don't know much about Hezbollah, my past life and corporate life, we have a lot of education, research, and work on and about Hezbollah and about different terrorist organizations. And they were the ones that were primarily, although part of the 9/11 tragedy and the Pentagon and the Pennsylvania airfield, or I should say the field in Pennsylvania where the final resting place is for one of the flights. They were a big part of that. And so the fear and the concern is, will they try to take over in Iran to control Iran, right? So the people of Iran are being asked and cautioned and warned to, hey, take your country back now. We are giving you an opportunity to do it. And it's almost like they only have one opportunity to do it. So I hope they do, for the sake of those folks, because I don't share this a lot, but many of you that are my Discord members, subscribers, know that I give praise to the Lord first. And there is a lot of Christian folks, religious folks that believe in God in Iran. And the Iranian government, the people of Iran, have been slaughtering their own people, especially if you have some sort of a faith-based understanding or, in context of religion. So that is one thing that could be very significantly better, obviously, because hopefully people won't be getting killed for being able to practice their religious beliefs. So as a Christian man, I do pray for them and for that, and hope they do get the opportunity to take control of that country and move on. Since it's been going on since like the 80s, they've been under control of the Ayatollah and all of that. So anyway, what I'm basically getting to is when the U.S. gets into these types of conflicts, let's forget about Iran for a minute. In general, all right, what catches the bid, right? What's going to pump for us? Where are we going to make some money and have an opportunity to make some money? And I'm going to pull the SPY back up here just so we can kind of watch it. All right, look at this. It had this drop sell off and now it's climbing. Nice. And that's a 2-minute chart. So let's go back to 5. We'll go on to 15 and just stick with it and see what happens on the big candle. So catching a bid, right? What am I watching this week? And I'm going to tell you that I have a lot of stocks that I had logged, and I think I actually left all my notes sitting on the couch in the other room as far as dollar values, but that's totally fine. I've got another list here close by. I just can't give you the dollars of those stocks. But there's basically, based on how the markets recently react to this type of involvement, like especially around Israel, Iran, Russia, and all of that, there are several rally buckets. That's what I'm going to call them. There's 4 sectors that you should be paying attention to. You need to look at. Okay. Number 1, 100%, you need to look at the defense and aerospace sector. Okay. Those buckets of defense and aerospace. And you got to do some homework here. You got to do a little research here to find what stocks potentially could be your jam in defense and aerospace. But defense and aerospace is number 1. Number 2, and I've said it many times, as you're looking to see where the money is rotating through the market, you've got to look at energy. 100%. Even right now, while you're seeing stocks like Applied Digital, APLD, or IREN, or TAC, TAC, okay, these are all data center type stocks. What's the number 1 component that a data center needs to run effectively, efficiently, and to be able to continue to grow their business? Well, it's energy. Okay. If they don't have the power, they don't survive. So energy, all right, oils and gas, those are the ones you really should be taking a look at right now. Okay. Number 3, the safe havens. Now, what are the safe havens? Josh, what does that mean? What are the safe havens, right? Well, the safe havens are those stocks like gold and silver, okay? USAR is a great stock to take a look at right now and see how it's going to pump with all of the volatility of wartime, of what's happening right now out there in the world. MP, materials. That's another one you should be taking a look at. Another one that could be really good for you to take a look at. But those are some of what I consider safe havens. And then I'm going to use the word select. Not all of them. Many of them, but not all of them. Some select cyber and security names. Okay. Sometimes you could see a rally in those. But I want to give you a little bit of a reality check to all of this. Okay. And we're going to get into some of those tickers that you want to put on your watch list. The war headlines create extremely fast emotional moves. They're not always technical. They're not always strategic. They're not always based on levels. So I set the scalp map levels out there for our Discord group. And if you don't know what that is, if you're watching this video for the first time, I'm going to say, they may tell me, hey, run me the levels for ONDS, and I'm going to chart ONDS based on my own strategy, my own technical analysis. And then I'm going to create this scalp map, which is what you're looking at right here, even on the SPY, on the S&P 500. This is Friday's scalp map for me. Okay. It's where I create basically the breakout levels and the breakdown levels. And so you can follow them. And if you're looking at this, okay, for the prior day, let's just kind of do this for a minute. You can see that market opened up, dropped down, and it respected my first support level. This potentially would have or could have been, I know it's moving right now because I don't have it locked in place, but it could have been basically a breakdown, of a support level. And if it did break down through here, then we could have been trading the SPY down to this 280 level. Okay. But it didn't. It rejected. It did wick down. and then it came back up and it respected this level. And then what happened? It came up, it wicked, but it respected this resistance level, showed us that it still wanted to fight, right? The buyers continued to push it up into this resistance level and broke that resistance level. And yeah, we're looking at a 15-minute chart. So these are 15-minute candles. If I went to the 5-minute or the 2-minute or the 1-minute, you'd be like, dang, Josh, like it does follow your levels. Well, it does follow your levels. And I'm not telling you this for any other reason than just sharing with you that when I'm doing my own personal technical analysis, that's what I'm sharing in the Discord so that all the members of the Discord are able to hopefully make money on these levels. All right. Same thing though. It broke up above. It hung up here. It respected. It kept breaking down now using this as a support level. Broke it, proved that it wanted to head back down. And then it came up and it again proved it wanted to go back up, right? And if you see what that looks like, I follow the 1 and 2 minute chart. So let's just go to that for a second so you can see the level here. You could see that, and I was complaining to a lot of people that the S&P 500 on this chart was literally a very sideways action day. Okay. You had some breakouts. You had some opportunities for option puts down, but mostly it was running sideways for a good amount of time through the market day. And then it broke out and it continued to pull back down, right? So you could see that for anything. And let me see, I might not have cleared APLD yet from Friday. Let me see if I still have my levels on there. Well, I don't have my levels on APLD. I've already cleared it, but I have this 2840 that I'm watching, right? Because this is a high point level for the prior day overnight. And so I've got to build my levels for APLD. Let's see, what else would I have them in there for? I think I've gone through this afternoon clearing a lot, getting ready, because once I finish this live, I'm going to be doing my charting. Yeah, I don't have a lot of them on here. Let me look at NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA I cleared. I remember looking at that a little bit earlier. Okay, no, NVIDIA I still have my levels. But you can see NVIDIA on those levels. We never had a chance on Friday for a breakout. It was nothing but breakdown. It opened up, broke that level at first, and then it's done nothing but breakdown from there, breakdown to here. And now look, we are basically back at 173 and working its way back up to get level with where it opened up, or you should say closed on Friday. But remember, these headlines create these emotional moves for you. So you have to be very careful. You can't treat it like you have this technical analysis on it. You have to treat it like a scalp. Get in, get profit, get out. And it's very possible that it runs the other direction. You're going to get that pop that after the pop, very much so often can fade once the path of conflict becomes clear. So what does that mean? Well, for all we know, this whole Iran deal could be done tomorrow. The military, Israeli military, the U.S. military could sink all of their naval ships, which they're already working on. They could destroy all their submarines if they have them. They could destroy all their military establishments. Okay. They could continue to target, and I'm sure, I'm probably going to get flagged for every single thing I say on this video by the government. I know how that could work. CIA may be there working, finding other additional leaders to take out, do what they're going to do. Okay. This thing could be over in a couple days, right? Iran has already, even though there was an Iranian politician that got on the media for Iran and is like, I feel like trying to save face, telling them we've been in negotiations with the U.S. The U.S. has violated the negotiations. You've attacked us twice now during the negotiations. But when you go to the flip side and you listen to everyone else says that Iran continues to deny the, opportunity to work together to come to some sort of negotiation. And it's all about control. It's all about controlling their people. Well, they don't have it anymore now. So who knows how long this could go on for? Do I think this is another 12-day war like we had the last one went for 12 days? No, I don't think so. I think that whether you like President Trump or not, and I'm not here to talk about it from a political perspective, but he's the kind of guy who wants to get in and out clean. And that's what he's doing right now. Get in, take no prisoners, take no names, and get out. And I think that's where we're at right now. But we're going to have to maintain some control through those U.S. bases that we do have there of Iran and help them. But I don't think this is in any way a mission to help them build They want a democracy, and we want them to have a democracy so they have control of their country, which would be great for the world, not just the US. But let's get back to the stocks. And I'm so sorry I keep going back to that. What I'm going to tell you that anything I'm sharing with you, though, on these specific stocks, nothing here, quote unquote, proves that a stock is going to be good now. This is all based on historical behavior. This watch list I'm going to give you is based on historical behavior. Okay. These are not predictions. Don't jump in right now and buy a bunch of these stocks and throw your money in them. You need to watch the market and see what they're doing and see if they are on an uptrend pump. You may be able to scalp some of these and make some money, some nice, clean, quick money and get out. You also, they could go the other direction. So let's talk about defense and aerospace. Okay. This has always been the most consistent war headline winners. And they can rally higher than expected because we understand there's a lot of defense spending that will take place because of this. We're going to spend more money as we continue forward with this military conflict. So there's going to be naturally additional spending in this sector. We're going to be replenishing orders, whether it's ammunition or military equipment, whatever it may be flak jackets, it might be bulletproof vests, it might be, whatever it's going to be. There's going to be replenishment orders. They're also going to have to replenish orders on missiles and drone technology, air defense demand, right? Things that they are literally using in this attack, in this assault, in this conflict. We need more. So there's going to be spending for companies that create that for us. And the proof is, right, based on this recent history, that if we go back and look at the Russia-Ukraine invasion period, then the defense names and the broader aerospace defense group outperformed in that immediate reaction window. Right now, okay? Tonight, tomorrow, right now, because this thing started on Saturday, right? Markets closed. This stuff always seems to happen markets closed. Could you imagine if this happened tonight into tomorrow morning? There'd be stocks here. I would be selling a lot of what I have in the house to get money in the account to buy different things in these areas. But we're not there right now. We have to wait and watch to see what happens. In the current Iran escalation cycle, Barron's notes big moves in the defense complex and highlights major contractors as beneficiaries. So we know right away, the Pentagon, okay? The Pentagon, those contractors are going to be helping to move this entire thing forward. So a lot of them are going to be looking for companies, and I'm going to throw the name out there, okay? Big Bear AI. They're already helping us in many ways. You don't know. Big Bear AI may be one. We'll probably pull up the chart on that just to see and be curious, see if BBI is having any type of a drop or a pump. Excuse me. Goodness, these Sunday Night Lives are getting to me. But what I'm going to give you, and these are the big boy US cap list, okay? These are the ones you want to watch. These are the prime stocks you should be looking at. And many of them are super expensive. And like I said, I did all this homework. I did all this research, and I don't have it. So I'm going to actually mute for a minute, and I'm going to yell for my list. So give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that little pause there. Probably about a 30-second pause there. Can't edit this stuff out. We're live, everybody. I had to go get my list. I want to make sure I'm able to talk to you about some of this stuff because there's a lot of dollar values here. So, big caps. Lockheed Martin. All right. Why Lockheed Martin? LMT is the ticker. Now that stock is running right now, 658.08. I'm actually going to pull these up as we go. Let's see if we can see if they're running 24 hours. Yeah. Okay. Perfect example. Look at this. Look what's going on with Lockheed Martin. 790. Okay. Now it is pulled back down here to 737, but a great example. Okay. It was at 658. It pumped to 790. May not be done. Need to watch it. Okay. Very expensive stock, though. And a lot of these are pretty expensive, but a big stock. Lockheed Martin focuses on fighter jets, on missiles, integrated defense. That's their jam. Okay. They are pumping because they know, and the market knows, we need Lockheed Martin. We need more missiles. Potentially, we might need to upgrade our jets or order more jets. Whatever is going to benefit from this. But who knows? Maybe it's like a flying commercial. We're flying around the Iranian air. They have a democracy now, and they're like, man, the USA and Israel's got these awesome jets from Lockheed Martin. Let's order some. You never know, okay? But LMT, nice pump on LMT. NOC, which is Northrop Grumman, okay? They focus on drones. They do radar, missiles, space defense technology, okay? Let's go take a look at that. NOC is the ticker. Let's see what they're doing right now. Boom. Okay. Wow. They were at 724. They're at 769, 797. See, now this is that big emotional pop. Do I think these may pop tomorrow? Do I think there's an opportunity to trade some of this tomorrow? Maybe. But if it's almost over, then it's going to pull back down. You got to be very careful. But we're going to see what it does. And these, I may have to do some charting on these tonight and put some levels out there to see, if we might get a couple days pump out of this. And let's see, if we go to Northrop Grumman and look at the daily, okay, they're high. And is that their all-time high? 542, 525, 347. Yeah, 100%. Their all-time high was $743.17. And that was just in February 19th. Okay. So now they're at 774.80. You're not going to see it on the daily because they're still living it right now. Okay. But wow. All right. Here, let's look at RTX. That's Raytheon. Air defense, missiles. They're often cited in conflicts, okay, because it's basically conflict-driven demand for RTX. Let's pull up RTX. Let's see what RTX is doing right now. I'm not sure RTX is it is 24 hour. Boom, same thing, right? So anyway, I'm going to throw the whole list out here for you. I'm just going to name the tickers. We're not going to go through every single one of them, but I want you to know what they are because you should be taking a look at them. General Dynamics, GD. They focus on land systems and defense platforms. We have LHX, which is L3 Harris, all about communications, ISR, defense electronics. Matter of fact, L3 Harris, I know that company very well. I know several of their sales folks from the sales team. They do a lot of work with law enforcement, so I've spent a lot of time working with this group. Let's pull them up. Let's just see LHX, what they look like right now. Same thing. I mean, everybody, look at this, what's going on here, okay? This is the war pump. Now, if the conflict is not over tomorrow, if it's not over, if they say we're continuing to do this, if Trump gets on X or there's additional news on CNN and NBC and ABC and Fox News, they're all saying the same thing, this is going to continue to progress, then these stocks, you've got to be taking a look at those. These are great opportunities for anyone, really. My personal opinion. Don't just jump into everything without doing your own homework. Now, there also are more event-driven, smaller mid-defense techs, okay? And these can move harder, but they're much higher risk. And I'm going to give these to you. And these are also, some of these are pretty expensive. AVAV. Let's pull up AVAV. AVAV is called AeroVironment. All right, like environment, but AeroVironment. They're about drones, Loitering munition theme. They are also very involved in the market as far as defense. And the same thing. Look, okay, they were 252. They're now sitting at 280. So what happens from here, right? Does it keep going up? Or does it retest back down? I don't know right now. I can tell you what I think. Look at the RSI on this. Way overbought right now. Okay, all the way up here at 86. Does that mean it can't go higher? No, it doesn't. It could go higher. All right. And I don't know a ton about AV, but obviously Northrop Grumman and, some of those other names I do. Here's one that's my absolute favorite. I love this stock. I love this company. KTOS, Kratos Defense and Security Solutions. Okay. If you don't know this, Kratos is actually based in Israel. They're an Israeli defense company, and they focus on their primary objective and focus as a company is on unmanned systems and defense tech. So, right now, Israel has been shooting unmanned equipment. I don't know what I want to call them, but they're shooting missiles out of the sky, and they've shot down, I think, 23. This was as of this morning, 23 unmanned flying objects. Okay, whatever you want to call them, they've shot them out of the sky, and this is a KTOS thing. That's what Kratos specializes in, unmanned systems, which also means somebody could be sitting here at this in my studio doing a video for me, talking to you, sharing this information, and I could be on the couch, sipping on a hot chocolate and watching a show with my family because it's unmanned. So in other words, they have all kinds of unmanned technology that's managing systems and services and things for them, not just aerial type unmanned. But that's what KTOS is all about, and I do love that company. CW, Curtiss Wright Defense Components. Okay, they're a big system supplier. Let's see. Let's do CW, not like the TV channel. Okay, CW is not a 24-hour stock. We're not going to see anything on CW. And it's also at $700 a share right now, so pretty expensive. But another one to focus on. All right, a simple way to track this whole bucket. If you don't want to get into individual stocks, there's a simple way to track this whole bucket. You could say trade it too. And instead of the single name risk tickers, okay, you could simply go to ITA. ITA is the iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF. And look where they are right now, okay? But a much safer bet on an ETF, right? They were at, let's see, when they first popped open, they were at 230 something, and they're at 253. Well, we can see right here on this candle bottom. Let's see what the actual number was. They opened up at 244. So they were somewhere around 237 when I first started looking at it. 244. They're at 253.85. And it's a group of these stocks I'm talking about, and they're all pumping. It would be like if the AI world, the Mag 7, right? Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, if all those started pumping hard, the S&P 500 pumps hard with it because it goes up. They benefit. S&P 500 benefits. Well, ITA, iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF, is benefiting from what's going on in all these different stocks right now. Okay, energy and oil. I'm going to throw them at you real quick. And here's the thing about energy and oil. So energy and oil, they tend to spike on Middle Eastern risk. Always. Because of where we're getting oil from, who's producing oil. Now, this is a little bit different because Trump has done a good job in understanding that we need to have that resource in the United States. And we've been drill, baby, drill, right? He says it all the time. And we have been to the tune of millions of gallons of oil in the United States for the United States. All right. Instead of buying our oil from other countries, we're not so dependent on that. It's still a great plan, but we're not solely dependent on other countries now, which causes them not to run quite as much. But why do they rally? Why do the energy, oil and gas tend to rally through this type of a conflict? Well, because there's supply disruption. And there's fears of supply disruption. It may not even be disrupted, but there's fear that they're going to be disrupted. And so there's shipping choke points. They end up with higher crude prices. You end up with a higher cash flow expectation for producers, right? This all causes these stocks to pump. And the proof of that is basically you have to look at the current and recent history. Reuters reports oil and energy linked moves around Middle East conflict shocks, oil jumps, energy share rises. And in this current Iran escalation reporting, the analysts have raised crude expectations and highlighted oil price sensitivity. Why wouldn't they? Of course they're going to. All right. So a comprehensive list for you to look at on oil, energy, oil and gas, XOM, ExxonMobil. And I'm not going to pull them all up here. All right, you can go and take a look at them. I'm going to kind of throw a couple of them up as we go. This is the first one, XOM. Okay, same thing, pumping. CVX, which is Chevron. Okay, COP, which is ConocoPhillips. They have a huge upstream leverage to crude oil. OXY, which is Occidental. They're very oil heavy. They can move faster. EOG, which is EOG Resources. It's a large producer, large U.S. producer. Why not put the money in the United States and make money in the United States? Let's pull up EOG. They're a 24-hour stock. There you go. Look at that thing. Right? All the way down here. 124, pumped all the way to 132. Okay. Not significant pump, but it's up. $2-3 a share is nothing to shake your hat at. I would take that every day. SLB, which is Schlumberger. They are an oil service, and they absolutely benefit when activity ramps up. Now, let's talk about the safe havens for a minute, right? And if you're just jumping in here, if you're in here live for the first time, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here live with us. I see we got a bunch of likes. Keep hitting those likes for me. There's 16 people that just joined the live in here. I need to see 16 likes in here. Come on, everybody. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this thing. Let's get the algorithms moving on this. But thank you for being here. And if you're seeing this afterwards as a video, hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell for me. Become part of this community. We're super excited that you're even here and wanting to hear this. The safe havens. And many of you know, you've heard me, if you're in the Discord or you've heard me on many other videos talk about the safe havens, we're talking about gold. We're talking about silver, okay? I even go as far as I shared USAR, okay? And I'm going to pull up USAR. And I keep saying, okay. I do that too much lately. I realize it. USAR is 24 hours? Yes, 24-hour stock. All right, it dropped with everything, pulling back up. MP Materials, I think both of these we have some really good opportunities with, depending on what they do. All right, so MP Materials also drop. Yep, 24 hours. So right now they're in a downward, but I think there's potential for this to continue to run, material stocks. But gold, silver, okay, the metals, 100%. Absolutely. Hey, Harold, thanks for the comment. Yeah, XLE. Matter of fact, I think I have XLE on my list here somewhere. Let me see. I didn't have XLE on the list. I had another one on the list. Let's look at XLE real quick, since Harold's in here live with us. XLE energy sector, yes, 100%. Look at that thing. Nice, and nice price point. $55.88 to $60.74. Sitting here dead middle, about $58.52. This one absolutely could run tomorrow. Good call out. Thanks for calling that out, Harold. Thanks for sharing that. Beautiful. But gold, obviously, when there's uncertainty spikes, when the money is often rotating out of AI, out of banks, out of consumables, a lot of times the safe haven to rotate into is gold and silver and all that. And matter of fact, gold rose on the U.S.-Israel strikes escalation because it was noted as a safe haven, safe haven stock. And there's a huge safe haven demand. People want to park their money somewhere safe. And they're going to go up as there's conflict there. You're not going to make money in a APLD or a Tesla, things like that at this moment, this minute in time. Here's a couple to look at. Throw them on your watch list. NEM, which is Newmont. They are a major gold mining company. So take a look at NEM. And a lot of these ones I'm calling out to you, if you go to the daily chart, they already look really good. So like here, for example, we'll go to NEM for a second and go to look at Newmont. And you see it's up tonight, 24 hours. But if I go to the daily, there's no secret here. Okay. Did they have a bit of a pullback? Okay, would you? So if you, here's how I look at this. Okay, I'm just going to give you the trend line. So if I start down here at 55 bucks, okay, and I'm going to bring my trend line up here, and I'm going to take it all the way to, let's say here. We'll just go right here. I like the bottom of that second day previous low. Okay, and we just leave it there, and I'm going to lock that in place. Let me get that back up here. Let me actually, no, let's change the color. We're done. I want to make that yellow. That's nicer to see. We're going to lock it in place. Okay. So, okay, up, down, pump. Over certain days, okay, up, down, pump. Up, down, pump. Up, down, pump. Up. What's next? After we get through this conflict, probably a bit of a down pump. But look at this since, when is this? July 2025 to today. Follow the line, everybody. Follow the line. It's not going down. Yes, it has down days. But if you're long-term looking at something like this, it's on and up. The other one is not GLD, it's GOLD. It's actually gold.com. And look at this. Fierce from $20 all the way up here to 66. Pulling back. Well, now you're going to probably get a little bit of a run on this one. Gold, 57.70. Okay, and it is open. It's open for market 24 hours, GOLD. So we'll see what happens with that one too. But AEM is another one. Agnico Eagle. They are also a major gold miner, just like GOLD is a major gold miner. Okay, and the gold miners can be more volatile than gold itself because their businesses, they have costs, execution, jurisdiction risks, etc. So it's not like just investing right in gold. You can invest right in gold, safe. But these are really pretty good to be in as well as those safe havens. And the last one, the last one I want to cover with you is those sometimes cybersecurity type stocks. All right. Especially when we're in a retaliation mode, which is exactly what's going on right now, then the risk is cybersecurity because Iran could be looking to attack us from a cyber perspective, not from a militarily, engaged or enraged perspective, even though they're shooting missiles at everybody they can right now. Meaning like towards Israel, towards our U.S. bases, etc. It may not be the major threat for us. Cybersecurity is a bigger threat. Hackers and getting into systems and trying to access systems, things like that, is much bigger. And so why can the cyber sector market rally? Well, because basically you have a ton of government and private sector security spending for cybersecurity. And that's why potentially you can see that. Again, we're going to talk about the proof. Why will they potentially run? Okay. Well, recent history showed us that during the Russia-Ukraine invasion, during that coverage, the defense and cybersecurity group or sector were commonly grouped as outperformers in the immediate invasion window. Again, where we are right now. So if you were to watch PanW, which is Palo Alto Networks, CRWD, which is CrowdStrike, FTNT, which is Fortinet, and let me double check. Yep. And ZS, which is Zscaler. Take a look at those. Absolutely take a look at those. Now, there's some smaller dollar ones I want to throw out to you. Not by much. You can hear my papers rustling. Some smaller ones I want you to kind of take a look at. Not by much, but AIR is another one. It's at $117 per share. CDRE, which is at $44 per share, 44 bucks. TALO, which is at $12.26. I know people are going to be like, "Ooh, let me go look at Tallow." So let's look at Tallow. Let's pull it up. I don't think it's a 24-hour stock, so we have to wait for tomorrow. It's not. But, Tallow's had a couple nice days of up run, so we'll see. And we look at the daily on Tallow. Nice up run. Had a bit of a drop here with earnings, but now they're going to bump. So we'll see what happens with Tallow Energy. But that's another one I would be looking at. And POWW, and I don't like to recommend these types of stocks because I'm not a penny trader. All right. I don't love penny trades, but you can see on the daily, they got up here to $2.18. And that was not their high. I was looking at them earlier. Their high is all the way up here at $10.37. Okay. So they got a lot of room for some growth and got some room for pumping. If in fact, my charts are not working right. I think I went through an update. It's not working. That's weird. Come on, reset chart. All right. Anyway, this is one that I would be taking a look at. And guess what? It's at $2.08 right now. So check it out. Like I said, not my thing, definitely not my game. But Outdoor Holding Company has some potential to run. So here's what I'm going to be doing this week. Okay. This is all about process, not prediction. So hear me out. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be picking one or two of these buckets. Defense and energy are the classic combo for me, right? Gold, if you want the risk off hedging behavior, but energy and defense for me are really my combo. And I'm going to be using an ETF as my thermometer. ITA. I mentioned it earlier, the ITA ETF for defense. And if you like a specific energy ETF, take a look and find one of those. But you want to see if the group is actually being bought. You want to see if the group is actually growing and increasing based on what's happening here. Not for the minute, not for the moment, not for the market bell. You want to see what it's doing for a period of time in the morning. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be watching ITA and I'm going to be watching some other ETFs just to understand what's going on. And then I'm going to make some decisions about that. For the single name stocks, I'm going to be looking at the pre-market with basically the first 30 to 60 minutes for any type of follow through, because the war headline pops often fade once that liquidity arrives. And that's what I think may happen in some of these in the morning when the hedge funds, when the institutions all start to open up, but we will see. What does it do? Now, there's a couple smaller cap aerospace defense ones that, like I said, I named them out already. You should be taking a look at those just to understand what they may be doing. And let me see here real quick. Actually, one of these, I even know it is delisted, so I'm not even going to mention that one, but I did pull it up on my list. But just understand that the small caps typically trade at a lower total valuation. So that often is a lower share price, and that's where you may want to be in some of those smaller cap stocks. I like to trade smaller cap stocks, lesser dollar, lesser value, more upside, more value if they pump, and you got to buy a lot of shares though to get something. If you're going to buy a stock that's $600 per share and it goes up $50 per share, you got to buy enough of them to make an impact, make a difference. Smaller cap, if it's $10, and I buy 1,000 shares of it and it goes up $5, well, that's a pretty good run up for my money. Take profit, see profit, take profit. All right, let's see. Just remember that this is not a recommendation to buy anything. Okay. Always run your own risk analysis, check the evaluations, look at recent earnings, look at different contract wins for those companies, and look at the current share price action before you enter. You also want to set your levels, make sure you're charting, make sure you build a box strategy. And we're going to go to BBAI real quick and take a look at BBAI because I wanted to see if it was doing anything tonight since it is a 24-hour stock. And we're on the daily. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. And no, it dropped with everything else. Trying to pull back more, $3.82. That is ugly for BBAI Army. Let's go, BBAI Army. We need to get out behind this thing and use like the thing you have at the fireplace where you squeeze it together to get the air, to blow air on the fire, to pump the fire in the fireplace. We need some of those right now for BBAI. But anyway, it dropped with the SPY and it's pulling back up. And it's actually not too bad of news because that means to me that the S&P 500 is probably pulling back up. And it is. Look at this. It's going to literally it's either going to hold here at this 680 level through the night, and we'll see what it does in the morning, but not so sure. So here is my interpretation of what I think we're going to see on the S&P 500 tomorrow. Because remember, the S&P 500, whether you're an options trader and you play calls and puts, whether you are a shares holder, you buy shares, sell shares, intraday, swing trader, whatever you are, I always use the S&P 500 as my gauge. I look at it at night, and I've said it many times. Before I go to bed, I want to see where the SPY is. When I wake up in the morning, I start getting ready for, my day. I'm looking to see where the SPY is. I want to understand what the SPY is doing. That was a big breath. The SPY right now is locked in on my 680 level. If it doesn't hold it's up here at 682 right now. If it doesn't hold this 682 level or make its way back to 685 and it turns to run back down towards 680, easily, I personally believe we're going to see anywhere from between 665 and 675. So be careful with it, because while we believe the market could potentially pump based on what's going on with this conflict, there's always a chance that it's bearish and starts to run down. You have to remember, we are already in a position. Look at this. We may just run sideways forever for a while now, but we're already kind of in a position with the SPY of this downtrend. I'm gonna clear everything so I got to redo my levels anyway. But we're already in this potential. We got this uptrend. I mean, this is the 200-day moving average. This is the 20-day moving average. I don't even see my VWAP on here. Yeah, I don't even know where the VWAP is. I can't do anything with my charts right now. That's very disappointing. I'm going to have to reset this whole system. Anyway, it is on a bit of a downturn here, okay? And everyone has been warning, hey, S&P 500 may be pulling back, S&P 500 may be coming down. Well, that's a lot of our stocks that we look at daily. So anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. Let's do a box strategy real quick. I want to do it on APLD because I like APLD always. They actually had another hard drop. But let's do our box strategy on APLD. Let's get rid of all these levels. We're going to reset them. We're doing that here next. It's what I'm going off to do when I'm done here. Finish this up. Excuse me. Go into the levels. All right. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. And actually, with the drop and it's now sitting level here, it still works for our box strategy. So we're going to go ahead and grab a box. Grab that rectangle. We're going to get the high of the last trading day, and we're going to come down to the low of the last trading day, lock it in place. There's my box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another line, and I'm not going to be real specific. I'm going to change it to yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it in here. Okay, there you go. Didn't change my color. Let's go back and change my color. All right, and we're going to try to bring this, Why is my chart being such a pain? Wow. There we go. All right. Sorry about this, guys. This is fighting me. It doesn't want to do anything. Let me see if I can get it over here. Nothing. Wow. All right. Well, imagine it's here, because it's really more like here. And we'll see if I can get this. Here you go. Let's change it numerically here. So what do we got here? It's about 20. Let's say it's about 26.85. So 26.85. All right, a little bit better. That's probably more like 90. Done. Okay, so that's about center. And you see this is right now the center of the day, and it was using it as a support level here, drop below. So we'll see if we can get back and use this as a resistance level and break through this box strategy. But in essence, you want to look for this breakout of the box. Now, this is one strategy. The other strategy is my scalp map. My scalp map gives you 3 levels up, 3 levels down, and I will be building the scalp map for the Discord, because many of the folks in the Discord, the AJDT family, play APLD, play APLX, play APLZ. And I think if If John, one of our Discord members, is in APLZ right now, he's probably pretty happy because he's sitting at probably a pretty good amount of money because APLZ is running down while or running up while APLD is running down. And so you can see that, yeah, it's not running 24 hours. So we'll have to wait for the morning to see, but it'll be up here. And that's good if he's got APLZ and if it holds. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I see we've got a bunch more people in the live. Go ahead and hit the like button for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit the notification bell. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. And go ahead and drop down in the description if you're interested to find out more and join the Discord. We'd love to have you in there. Super looking forward to seeing what the market does tonight through the night into the morning with the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time morning bell. Very excited to see what does it do at 8 o'clock when the hedge funds and brokerage accounts start to open, 8:30 when more of the institutions start to open, all the way through to that bell on the New York Stock Exchange. So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, thank you so much for being here. Pray you all have an amazing night. See you tomorrow. God bless you. Josh out. Peace.